There were tens of thousands of pilgrims from all over the world. They were of all colors, from blue-eyed blondes to black-skinned Africans. But we were all participating in the same ritual, displaying a spirit of unity and brotherhood that my experiences in America had led me to believe never could exist between the white and non-white. America needs to understand Islam, because this is the one religion that erases from its society the race problem. Throughout my travels in the Muslim world, I have met, talked to, and even eaten with people who in America would have been considered white, but the white attitude was removed from their minds by the religion of Islam. I have never before seen sincere and true brotherhood practiced by all colors together, irrespective of their color. You may be shocked by these words coming from me, but on this pilgrimage, what I have seen and experienced has forced me to rearrange much of my thought patterns previously held, and to toss aside some of my previous conclusions. This was not too difficult for me, despite my firm convictions. I have always been a man who tries to face facts and to accept the reality of life as new experience and new knowledge unfolds it. I have always kept an open mind, which is necessary to the flexibility that must go hand in hand with every form of intelligent search for truth. During the past 11 days here in the Muslim world, I have eaten from the same plate, drunk from the same glass, and slept in the same bed or on the same rug, while praying to the same God with fellow Muslims, whose eyes were the bluest of blue, whose hair was the blondest of blonde, and whose skin was the whitest of white. And in the words and in the actions, in the deeds of the white Muslims, I felt the same sincerity that I felt among the black African Muslims of Nigeria, Sudan, and Ghana. We were truly all the same brothers, because their belief in one God had removed the white from their minds, the white from their behavior, and the white from their attitude. I could see from this that perhaps if white Americans could accept the oneness of God, then perhaps too they could accept in reality the oneness of man, and cease to measure and hinder and harm others in terms of their differences in color. With racism plaguing America like an incurable cancer, the so-called Christian white American heart should be more receptive to a proven solution to such a destructive problem. Perhaps it could be in time to save America from imminent disaster, the same destruction brought upon Germany by racism that eventually destroyed the Germans themselves. And that comes from a letter from Malcolm X back in April of 1964. And I read this to you because I want you to understand what's really going on here. And I want you to really take a second and think about, what the face of Islam is. Because it isn't what you constantly hear in the media from Donald Trump, from any of the Republicans. It's what you hear from George Bush back when the war on terror started. It's what you hear from the Democratic candidates. It's what you hear from President Obama. That the war is not against Muslims. It's against radicalism. It's against people who have, in essence, lost their way and have taken the word of God and perverted it and distorted it for political means. I myself am not religious at all. But when I hear someone like Donald Trump, who is in a power position, say that we should consider banning all Muslims, or that we should ban all Muslims until we, quote unquote, understand what is going on, it disgusts me, as it should disgust you. Because what he is calling for is not, he says it's for security, but it's not against religion. It's for security, but it really is against the religion, and it's an idea that will only have practice based in racism. Because when you say Muslim, the human mind, or the American mind at least, automatically goes to people of Arabic descent, because that is what they really are. They aren't Muslim people, they are people of Arabic descent. And if we are going to ban Muslims, if this is a practice that, were to go into play, it would be against people who look of Arabic descent, who are brown-skinned people. And that's a disgusting thing. It's vile and it's repugnant. It is very much akin to the Nazis and what they did against Jewish people. It's, like I read in the letter from Malcolm X just now, you can't sit up and say, that we're going to ban a whole religion, because when you say that, you not only have, the people of Arabic descent that practice this faith, you have black people, you have white people, and I'm sure you probably have some Latinos, some Asians, I'm sure, because Muslim religions, period, don't stay stuck to one particular skin or race. They travel and they engulf many people. I, for one, was a Muslim when I was in middle school. I'm not ashamed to say it. Well, high school, rather. I'm not ashamed to say that. That was a part of my journey to where I am now. I started off as Christian. I studied religion, period, and I started practicing Muslim faith for a while, even participating in Ramadan and trying to pray, 5 times a day as much as I could. There is nothing wrong with the Muslim faith, just like there is nothing wrong with the Christian faith. They both preach idealistically the same thing. The difference is that the Muslim faith is much newer than the Christian faith. And that's the most important nugget here, is that the Islamic faith is newer. And we shouldn't be afraid. We shouldn't fear them. We shouldn't ban them. We shouldn't treat them any differently than we do anybody else. Because just like the Muslim faith, the Christian faith has killed in the name of religion. It's disgusting what's going on right now. And I didn't want to talk about this for the channel. I just wanted to let everybody else do the work here. Because for me and for the rest of America, you should be outraged by this proposal. You should be disgusted by it. And now Donald Trump is at 41% in the polls. And that's, to me, that's insane. Here is a man who is now proposing to racially ban people from this country. Okay, understand that, because his proposal, yes, it goes against the Muslim faith, but in practice, you can only affect the people who look of Arabic descent. A black person could lie and say that they are of Southern Baptist or the Christian faith belief. White people could lie and say, no, I am not a Muslim, I am a Christian. This is racially and based on religion, discriminatory, prejudiced, racist. It is unbelievable that this man has said this, has made this proposal, and is still to this day climbing in the polls. That he is not even disqualified from this. And I know other politicians, other people running for president right now have come out and said that, they condemn what he has said, they do not agree, and blah, 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 which is what you do when someone says something so radical. That's what happens. Okay, so that, I take it with a grain of salt. But what you should be doing as the American people is saying, no, This is not who we are. This is not what we stand for. We stand for a place where all people are accepted, loved, and treated as equals. As American people, you should be standing up and saying, and as Republicans especially, because Republicans is the quote unquote party of America, you should be standing up and saying we condemn these actions. We are not going to vote for him. His numbers will dip in the polls until he is eventually no longer even an option. That is what should be happening, not him climbing in the polls. As Americans, you should be condemning this man. You should be not still saying you will vote for him. This is disgusting. This is Hitler 2.0. Okay? This is what we are looking at here. We literally have on the table for President of the United States a new Hitler in this country, in America, which is supposed to be the #1 country in the world. We're supposed to set the standard for the rest of the world, and we are considering electing a man who has proposed an ideal and other ideas to hinder and hurt the Muslim community. This is the same man who proposed a database for Muslims. You can say the interviewer gave him that idea, but he ran with it. He went on and said that we should have plenty of other ones, such as special IDs that notified what religion they were, that FDR had it right, and that, maybe we should consider, not letting them go 5 miles, I believe it was, from their house. These are the ideals that he has stated, that were good ideas. This is Hitler, people. He wants to send all these people and keep all these people away from America, even the ones that were born here. Okay? Because if you think that this proposal is just for Muslims coming into America, I'm sorry, you're wrong. This proposal is for Muslim Americans and Muslims who are not from this country. This proposal would stop Muslim Americans from being able to come back home. Okay? Imagine if it was flipped. Imagine we were saying that we were going to ban all Christians from the United States. Imagine how much of an upset that would be. That means all Christian Americans would no longer be allowed to come back home. That means all the people who are serving in the military who are Christians would not be able to come back home from fighting these senseless wars over in Iraq and in Afghanistan. That's what this means, people. We have Muslims in our armed forces fighting these wars. We have Christians who are fighting these wars. And for someone to say that Muslims, we should ban them from coming into our country, even Muslim Americans who are legally here, who were born here, that we should stop them from being able to come back home. That means those troops would not be able to come back home till we, quote unquote, again, understand what is going on. This is not okay. What Trump said is disgusting, it is vile, it is repugnant, and it should not be something that boosts someone's number in a presidential race. It should be something that destroys them. And that's all I have to say on this. And that's it. Because I don't think, no matter what anyone says, that people will wake up and realize that this cannot continue. Trump cannot continue to have a voice in this country, in our politics, in any stretch or form of the imagination. He should not be able to, because his ideas are so repugnant that they destroy the fabric of America. He may have on his hats and on his banners and whatnot, "Make America Great Again." But what he is doing is destroying America, dividing us, and causing hate. Realize that since his proposals, the wall for Mexicans, now ban all Muslims, that violence against those two groups have both risen in America. Okay, understand that. That's what's happening right now. Every time this man accosts one group of people, violence sparks against those groups of people. And he is still leading in the Republican Party. He's still leading. Okay? That's it's baffling. It's upsetting. It's disgusting. I don't know how many times I'm going to say disgusting in this video. It's upsetting. Okay? Not only that, but there are reports now that Stormfront, which is a neo-Nazi website, its founder has come out and said that thanks to Donald Trump, their websites have seen a boost in traffic. So much so that they've had to get more servers to handle the traffic. Understand what's going on, people, and realize what this man is proposing and what this man is doing. This man is Hitler, okay? He is the new Hitler. And this is not okay. It's not. And if you are for him, you really need to take a good look at yourself and think about if you really support this divisiveness, this racism, this attack on a religion. And imagine how you'd feel if this attack was on you. I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. And this comes from someone else, and I can't remember what his name is. I said last time I think he was a senator, but I think now in doing some more research, I think he was once in the military. You may not care what Donald Trump has to say about all these other groups. I'm paraphrasing here. Bear with me. You may not care what Donald Trump has to say about all these other groups. But if you keep feeding into his ego, you keep telling him what he is doing and what he is saying is okay, and he becomes president, how long until he gets to you? How long until he starts attacking your faith and starts attacking you? Because it will happen. You give someone like this enough power, and they will destroy not only America, but they will destroy the world. And they will divide us all. And that, for all you Christian people and all you religious people, that will be the end of days.